Nothing beats the flavor of fresh from the garden vegetables, but many of us don't have the space for a traditional plot or time to manage a large garden. Start by growing your favorites, those herbs and vegetables you use most when preparing meals. Then look for creative ways to include them in your landscape. Elevated gardens like these make planting and harvesting easy. They take up very little space, and those on wheels can easily be moved out of the way when more patio space is needed. Make the garden part of the party. You and your guests can pull up a stool, harvest some fresh herbs and edible flowers to flavor your drinks and dress up your salads. Raised beds are a great way to deal with less than ideal soil and eliminate much of the bending and reaching needed when planting, weeding, and harvesting the garden. Mix vegetables with your ornamental plants. Treat them as you would any other decorative plant. Like any other plant, match them to their desired growing conditions. Grow vegetables in full sun for a bountiful harvest, but don't let shade dissuade you from gardening. Root crops like radishes and beets can still produce in 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, while greens like lettuce and spinach are even more shade tolerant. Consider their color and texture when adding herbs and vegetables to existing planting beds. The ferny leaves of dill provide a nice contrast to the bold leaves of these bananas and Swiss chard. The blue-green leaves of laciniata kale combine nicely with the spiky pink flowers of the neighboring wheat-type celosia. Use vegetables as functional features of the garden. The tomatoes trained on this decorative structure provide screening and easy access to the harvest. Scarlet runner beans climb the balusters, adding color, beauty, and edibility to the stairway. Or soften a fence or garden wall with climbing spinach trained onto a metal trellis. Dress up a blank wall with a vertical planter filled with herbs and vegetables. Just consider it a container turned on end. Save space throughout the garden by growing pole beans, peas, cucumbers, squash, and melons on trellises. Use decorative supports for added beauty. And be sure to support large fruit with a cloth or macramé sling attached to the trellis. And speaking of containers, the possibilities are endless. Design these just like you would any container garden. Swiss chard and kale make excellent vertical accents, but so do tomatoes, peppers, and peas trained onto supports. Strawberries, oregano, sage, and thyme are wonderful trailers spilling over the container. Fill in any remaining space with other herbs and vegetables. Or add a few flowers so you can have your vegetables and flowers too. Include a few hanging baskets. A tumbler tomato on a shepherd's crook by the patio, or basket of greens, herbs, and edible flowers provide all you need for a tasty salad. As you can see, you don't need a lot of space to grow some of your favorite herbs and vegetables. And once you start, you'll be looking for more ways and space to include them next season.